love yin yoga because it brings together my two favorite subjects, which are Chinese medicine and yoga. Yin yoga really looks at the different meridians of the body and looks at how to activate and open those meridians. And so when sequenced appropriately, it's almost like people are doing acupressure to themselves, and I love being able to share that with my students. Yin yoga is a very slow style of yoga. Often we hold poses anywhere from 1 upwards to 5 minutes in class. A lot of the poses are deep stretching. So this is a class where you can really get into each pose, take a lot of time with it, and relax into each of the postures. While we are coming into these poses in a very slow way, they're also very challenging, so it's a little different than restorative yoga. In yin yoga, we want you to find just the beginning edge of each stretch and then sit in that level of uncomfortability and get really comfortable being uncomfortable. And as a yoga teacher, as a healthcare practitioner, that's something I'm always trying to teach my students is how to learn how to relax while we're uncomfortable, because life is stressful and it's just so important to learn how to relax and breathe into the stress of first the yoga poses, and then eventually that helps take us into our daily lives. Yin yoga can be taught without props, but props do make it a lot easier. We can use almost any of the props during class. We'll have different recordings that are based on maybe just having 2 blocks. We'll have different classes using a large bolster or a small bolster. Often we like to use the wall. Having wall space can be really beneficial in this style. So we really do. Particularly when I'm teaching yin yoga, I like to use a lot of props just so that you can really find that edge of each pose, and then by propping any part of your body that might be in the air, it allows you to relax into the intensity rather than straining, trying to hold your body into a particular position. So props aren't necessary, but I love using them when I'm teaching yin yoga. Yin yoga is really for anyone who's looking for a slow but challenging practice. It's really, really good for anyone who's working through any kind of emotional stress. It can be really, really therapeutic to just working any intense emotions physically out of the body and creating a safe space that can happen. It's also really good if people are looking to rebuild range of motion. If for some reason flexibility is a challenge, it can be really beneficial that way. So these are some of the things I really love about yin yoga. I also think it's good as we get a little bit older, taking time to just really work on flexibility and bringing that into our workout routine. It's often left out in the American workout where we're always just working on building strength, and this style is so good at creating that balance and focusing on flexibility and settling into a posture on a deeper level. So often a lot of my students are in their 40s, 50s, 60s. I've even had students upwards into their 80s. So I would say this style is really for anyone who wants to increase their range of motion, and anyone who's looking for a slower practice. While I love yin yoga, it is not necessarily a style that's good for everybody. As I've said, this is a very slow style. It doesn't necessarily work on building strength. It doesn't work on cardio. So students with those types of goals in mind may not be very happy with this. Also, if people have a lot of acute pain, restorative yoga might be a better option. If working through chronic pain is fine, or mild to moderate pain is fine. But if people are recovering from something that's a little more intense, yin yoga might be a step up from restore, or chair yoga that might work just a little bit better. I would say those are some of the things that people really should be aware of. Otherwise, most of the poses, we have enough time that we can modify for most conditions. If I know what people are working with, if there's any health conditions, I can almost always change the sequence of a class to fit whoever is attending a live class. People hate yin yoga because the poses are long and intense. A lot of times that can cause a lot of emotional reactions, especially if they're a pose that people are not good at, your challenge poses. So as we get into these poses, if it's forward folds or back bends, these poses are really going to make you aware of the places in your body that you're holding tension, that you're restricted, and a lot of emotions come up in this class. People can get really angry and frustrated if they're not good at a pose. Sometimes they can get really bored in poses that maybe you're really good at. Either way, that's a really normal part of the beginning of yin yoga, but as we start practicing and learning how to breathe and relax into these poses, controlling our breath, releasing these negative thoughts and emotions, that transforms with practice, and suddenly we find ourselves relaxing into that stressful situation, but realizing that the beginning of that is getting into a stressful situation. So in yin yoga, we love to come to our edge, find that uncomfortability, and then just really relax into it.